This footage comes from the Travel Channel's hit documentary series Expedition Bigfoot, a groundbreaking investigation where a team of elite researchers use advanced data science and state-of-the-art technology to uncover evidence of North America's most elusive creature. Their mission is simple: to find real proof that Bigfoot exists. But what they captured during this expedition was far beyond what they expected. The episode, titled Massive Footprint Found in Moss, follows the team deep into a region long associated with Bigfoot sightings. After speaking with a former police officer who witnessed a massive figure cross the road in front of him, Bryce, one of the lead investigators, decided to take a late-night drive through that same area. His goal was clear: to see the creature with his own eyes.
Cars on the road, it's the middle of the night. Even if I don't see something crossing the road, one of these cameras will pick it up, and I'll be able to take it back to the command center later on and analyze the footage. So if anything crosses the road, we're gonna get it on camera. I'm ready.
You getting something?
Inside his vehicle, Bryce had turned his car into a mobile surveillance unit. 8 infrared cameras covered every angle, front, back, and both sides, creating a full 360-degree watch over the road. It was quiet, the kind of quiet that makes every sound feel louder. Hours passed. Then, movement. A tall, dark figure crossed the road just ahead. It was quick, almost too quick, but Bryce knew what he saw. The cameras caught it, and the footage would later send shockwaves through the research team. Meanwhile, miles away, Ronnie and Mireya were following their own trail. The team had separated to cover more ground after strange activity had been detected near a creek bed. Mireya was guided by a strong instinct. That sense you can't explain, but can't ignore either. She followed it until she saw something unusual beneath her. There, pressed deep into the moss, was a single footprint, huge, perfectly shaped, and sinking several inches into the soft earth. She called it in immediately. Ronnie rushed to the location, and together they examined what could be the clearest footprint impression ever found during their search.
If he really hadn't been feeling something, and while science is not founded on feelings, I do think that it's really important as a scientist that you follow your instincts. Are you still feeling it?
Yeah, it's like picking up intensity.
It's taking us right through a logging road.
Yeah, logging has a big history with Bigfoot.
For the first time in history, an investigative team used decades of sighting reports and cutting-edge algorithms to determine the best places to encounter Bigfoot. This wasn't guesswork or myth. It was data, science, and determination. Armed with thermal cameras, audio sensors, and night vision tech, they pushed further into the unknown, documenting every sound, every movement, every possible sign of a living, breathing creature.
Did you see it? I mean, did you see the movement?
No,
or just the sound?
like something sliding.
Which way do you want to go? I mean, what are you feeling?
I don't feel it anymore like that. As intense.
It's like kind of playing a game of hot and cold.
The one thing they're known to do is being tricksters, right?
But it wasn't just about the evidence. It was about what they felt, the undeniable sense that they weren't alone. Bryce's late-night sighting, Mireya's footprint discovery, Ronnie's strange instinct pulling him toward unseen movement in the dark. Each moment felt like the creature was always one step ahead, watching, curious, and maybe even warning them to leave.
Whoa, this looks like a footprint. Hey, Ronnie. I think I'm kneeling over what looks like Betty. I see what looks like a very deep footprint.
Say that again. You found a footprint?
These aren't stories made for television. They're documented encounters, analyzed and recorded by professionals who risked everything to get closer than anyone ever has. And this is just one of 8 times Bigfoot got way too close for comfort. Stay till the end, because the final encounter might just change how you see the legend forever. The D-Max UK team has come to Michigan's Upper Peninsula, a region known for its vast forests and long whispers of something large that moves unseen. The land belongs to Craig, a calm man who knows every trail and sound out here. Tonight, he's taking them to a part of his property he calls the Sanctuary. They move quietly, flashlights cutting thin lines through the mist. Every sound seems sharper here, every step, every breath. The ground is soft and damp, littered with pine needles. Craig walks slow, scanning the tree line. He stops beside a small rise where the grass is flattened, deer bedding spots. But nearby, pressed deep into the soil, are tracks. Wide, heavy, too long to be human, too defined to be a bear.
And he wants to get to the bottom of it. He wants to know what it is. He's not saying it's a squatch. He's wondering if it is.
What other sorts of large mammals do you have in the area that might be confused for something this size?
We have bear that'll come through the property, and especially with this kind of mineral we use, which is apple scented. And we have deer, but the size in proportion to the distance, I just don't see it as being a deer.
What about people or other hunters?
The deeper they go, the darker it gets. The forest thickens, and the air feels heavier. A faint sound breaks the silence. A sharp crack, wood snapping under weight. Everyone stops. The light sweeps across the brush, catching fog and shifting shadows. Then, again, the sound. Closer now. A radio hums softly. Renee and Cliff heard it too. It's not an echo. Something's moving through the sanctuary.
Renee and Cliff, do you copy?
Yeah, go ahead, Matt.
Hey, listen, we're at a good place where we can make some sounds. How about you?
Yeah, we are ready to listen. Fire away.
Craig lowers his light, straining to hear. The night holds still. Then, from the distance, a long, low call rolls through the trees. Not an owl, not a coyote. It's hollow, deep, almost human, but not quite.
Maybe that's a Bigfoot.
All right.
So we're not exactly sure what's in that photograph, but the possibility of it being a Bigfoot is enough for us to stick around and do a night investigation. Craig has been generous enough to give us access to not only his 80 acres, but also the surrounding properties as well. As our guide, Craig's going to show us the ins and outs of his property, and hopefully we can find ourselves an Upper Peninsula Bigfoot.
Craig listens, motionless. He says he's heard that tone before, just once or twice, but never forgotten it. They find more signs near a creek, sticks stacked in odd shapes, a print by the bank that looks deliberate. The team takes a moment, recording quietly. No one wants to break the stillness. In these woods, even whispers feel too loud. Hours pass, the night deepens. They regroup by the clearing, tired but alert. No clear evidence, no sighting, yet none of them feel alone. Craig looks toward the trees again, quiet, thoughtful. He says there are parts of his land that never rest, where the woods don't quite let go of what walks inside them.
Did you hear that? Yeah. What do you think that was, Craig?
You got me.
Some weird sounds come around your woods at night.
Yes, sir.
You've never heard these before?
No. I never heard nothing like it.
Did you guys do that knock sound?
We heard it, we did not make it. It was in the opposite direction of you, off in the woods where no one is at.
Maybe it was only the wind, or deer moving unseen. Or maybe something larger still watches from the sanctuary, keeping its distance, but never far. The YouTube channel Brian and Chewy Go Hiking has become known for venturing deep into Alaska's most isolated wilderness, where few people ever set foot. In their video, Alaska Sasquatch the Peninsula Part 2, Brian returns to a remote stretch of the Kenai Peninsula, hoping to follow up on strange activity he'd experienced there before. The area is wild, cold, and silent. Towering spruce trees, thick moss, and endless fog. Hours into the trek, something feels off.
The sensor is right on the tree across from my window. So if sensor 2 goes off, it's gonna have to go on the path that takes us up to the cabin here. Very odd for the camera 3 to go off. Dude, I'd rather be paranoid than not pay attention to it.
He moves cautiously toward the sound, filming as he goes. The camera catches glimpses of tree trunks, wet bark, and clumps of moss hanging like drapes. The sound happens again, deliberate, heavy. Not the random fall of a branch, but something walking. The prints he finds are large, pressed deep into the damp earth. Each one is wide, with clear toe impressions and a long stride that would be difficult for a human to match.
We're hiking the trail, we found this indentation, about the size of my boot. Could be anything, but I'm gonna go ahead and get a 3D scan of it just in case. Let's see if this will work. Using Scaniverse, new scan.
He decides to make camp nearby, keeping a small fire going through the night. Around midnight, another sound breaks through. A long, low howl that carries across the valley. It's not a wolf, it's deeper, almost human, but stretched, distant, and powerful. Brian stays still, his flashlight sweeping the dark, but nothing moves beyond the firelight in Alaska's endless wilderness. There are places untouched by noise or light.
Yeah,
little tiny, little teeny tiny.
Yeah.
That's kind of intriguing, but
Okay, we're really going up now. This is
oh yeah, it's getting steep.
This is the steep section.
You gotta let that energy drink burn.
Yeah, it's a little dangerous, but as long as you take your time, watch your footing.
Well, that's water runoff, I think. There.
I think
we can go here.
We'll be good.
You can kind of go zigzag.
Yeah, we can go. I guess that might be.
Go to the right. Go to the left.
Easier this way. Wow. We made it. We made it.
Where the mountains hold secrets and the forests never sleep. Maybe that's where something ancient still walks. Something that watches, waits, and disappears just as you begin to believe it's real. This is the Finding Bigfoot team from Animal Planet, standing in the middle of nowhere. They meet people who say they saw something that should not be there. One witness leads them to a low saddle on a ridge. He says he heard a crash behind him and turned. A creature was on the ground 5 feet away. It stood up and ran. He felt shocked. He took pictures. Another person tells a different kind of close call. He pulled into a driveway and saw a shape walking along the tree line. He turned the car toward it, and the thing looked back. He saw bright red eyes in the beam of his lights. His chest tightened. He drove off, shaking, not sure what to make of it, only that it was big and powerful and very real to him.
It is a blob squatch, indeed, but there's something there.
And this is the photo of the footprint.
I love situations like this. I had serious reservations about Jeff's story when I first heard it, but now that I've been to the location, heard the details, and then saw the pictures, I think he probably saw a Sasquatch in the middle of the day. I'm blown away.
So that mailbox?
Yes, ma'am. This is where it was. Basically what happened, I pulled up in my vehicle.
She looked back once and saw a form following with its head down. A young woman who snuck out for excitement found far more than she wanted. She saw a hairy silhouette at dusk and ran home trembling. Another watched a creature cross the road, drop to all fours, and then disappear into thick brush.
I moved all the way over to that side of the road, and then I walked maybe 10 feet down, turned to look behind me. It was just following me with its head just all the way down the road. And I just turned around and never looked back.
God, that had to be the scariest thing ever.
Oh, yeah.
At a camp trailer, a witness stepped outside and saw a female figure shaking the trailer. She stood her ground and felt oddly unafraid. The female crossed a field, stopped, and gave a long, hollow call that echoed. Others imitate that sound now, and they say they have heard it many times. The team finds one deep, clean impression in spongy moss near a creek where a woman felt pulled toward. There are no other prints nearby. That single, heavy mark sits in the soft ground like a question. It is proof to some. It is only a piece of the story to others. The night watchers set up cameras on quiet highways and wait, hoping to catch even a glimpse. And sometimes, something crosses the road and vanishes before the lights can follow.
Tail was a female cow. The shoulders and the hips about the same. It had a lot of muscles in the neck and stuff.
When you heard her do that scream that you did for us, have you heard that noise here before?
A bunch. I think it's more.
They leave the place with more than one story and with new questions. Out here, the line between what is known and what is felt gets thin. What do you believe is moving just beyond the trees? This is the Bigfoot Files team, following a tip about an encounter near a remote cabin. They drove up, they climbed, they walked into thin air and high pines. The goal was simple: visit the exact place someone said they saw something strange. He hikes alone. The trail is steep and narrow. The trees stand tall and close. The ground crunches under his boots. At first, it feels like any hike. Then, the signs begin. Broken branches lie across the path. Trees are twisted where they once stood straight.
Okay, so I just creeped myself out.
Little cairns of snapped wood mark the way. Each short sight tells the same story. Something strong has moved through here. He moves higher. The air thins with each step. The view opens to a field framed by cabins tucked behind the trees. The broken trees end at this small clearing. He slows. His chest tightens. An old, uneasy feeling settles in. He remembers stories of other witnesses in the range. He remembers the drive up and the long climb. All of it narrows to this moment.
I recently obtained the location of an encounter that occurred in my local mountain range. After a 2-hour drive and a climb to about 7,000 feet in elevation, it would then be about a 9-mile hike to the location of the encounter site.
He pans the camera slowly. It feels like something big shifting through brush. It feels like weight and breath where no human should be. He does not shout. He does not run. He walks away carefully, keeping his back to the trees when he can. His hands tremble a little. He tells himself he might be wrong. He says he is not claiming certainty, but he cannot ignore the signs, the broken lines of trees, the deep impressions in soft earth, the way the place feels watched when the wind dies down.
Almost like where I reacted to the sound.
Okay, so I just creeped myself out.
He looks back from a safe distance. The cabins sit quiet and empty. The broken trees mark a path that leads toward them. The memory of the sound sits heavy in his chest. He packs up. He leaves the spot with the footage he has. The camera shows the broken trees and the empty clearing. The audio, missing that key sound, leaves a gap, but the feeling is still there.
Heard something. All along the trail, I was finding reported signs of Bigfoot, whether it be tree breaks, tree twists, or a branch laying across the path when it wasn't there before. It definitely seems like this area could be a hot spot.
Back at the car, the trail behind him seems smaller. The hike down is slow. He keeps thinking of the signs he found. Each bit of wood snapped just so. Each bend in the trail that looks freshly changed. He does not say what he heard with certainty. He only says he was moved enough to leave. That choice says something on its own. Out here, in high pines and thin air, proof is often small and quiet. A broken branch, a deep print, a sound that a camera fails to catch.
Now, unfortunately, the camera didn't pick up the audio, but as you can see, I'm panning the camera. I hear a sound right here, and immediately drop the camera to my side and start walking away. Almost like where I reacted to the sound.
He left with questions, not answers. He left with the sense that this place holds more than he first thought. What do you make of those signs? Could a big animal move through the trees like that? Or is it something else, older and quieter, that lives where cabins meet wild? The YouTube channel Rocky Mountain Sasquatch is known for its deep mountain investigations, often in places few people dare to go. In this case, the team traveled high into the Grizzly Ridge area near Red Cloud, reaching nearly 10,000 feet above sea level. Their goal was simple: to look for signs of Bigfoot. Not long into the hike, they spotted something strange. A massive wooden structure stood among the trees, built from thick logs and branches that clearly hadn't grown there. Some had been torn down, bent and woven together in a shape that looked almost like a shelter. The pieces were heavy and arranged with purpose, suggesting that something powerful had placed them there.
Check out this structure. We're up here looking for signs of Bigfoot evidence and come across a structure-looking thing. And as you can tell, those did not grow there.
The deeper they went, the more of these odd constructions they found. Large tree limbs forming intersecting shapes, forked trunks twisted unnaturally, and logs stacked in ways that didn't seem random. Some of them looked aged and weathered, as if they had been standing for years. The team noted that similar formations have often been found in areas with frequent Bigfoot sightings.
Coming together up like that.
Well, being that I've seen a ton of these, clearly these were Montana Bigfoot on vacation down here. Because this is the size they built up there a little bit. It is a structure, it's old.
Moving through the upper ridge, they entered a mix of lodgepole pine and pinyon forest. The team discussed how previous studies have shown that Bigfoot encounters often occur at the same elevations where elk herds migrate, suggesting either shared terrain or a predator-prey relationship. Then came one of the most compelling finds of the day: a large footprint impression in the soft soil. It measured around 16 inches long and 8 inches wide, with a deep heel mark and faint toe outlines. Just a short distance away, another print appeared, smaller, narrower, about 13 inches long. It looked juvenile, as if a younger creature had been walking beside a larger one. The two prints seemed to lead away from one of the nearby structures. That connection caught everyone's attention. If both belonged to the same pair, an adult and a younger companion, it might suggest a family group living or passing through the area. The soil and the shape of the impressions made them difficult to dismiss as ordinary animal tracks.
100 yards of that last structure that you found. You want to measure it?
Don't have any tape measure with me this time.
I've got one.
Okay. And yep, just found a track coming out. That teepee structure's over that way, about 100 yards. And heel here, there's the outline of the foot.
The toes,
smaller toes.
The toes are going beyond the 16 mark. It looks like 16 and a half inches in length.
Well, we're going to be conservative. We don't know how far up the hallux went. It might have gone this far, in which case it's a 17-inch track.
By sunset, the team had documented the structures, photographed the tracks, and discussed the possible link between Bigfoot sightings and animal migration routes. None of what they found was proof, but it was consistent with countless reports from across the Rockies.
And this is part of the strike. It was wet when he brought his foot down. They come down heel first, so his foot slid a little bit, and then the heel
both edges are really crisp on this one.
Both edges are really crisp, and it looks like a right foot, and the toes come up to about here, and this rock was in the way, so you don't see the rest of them.
And what side is this one, a left or a right?
This one looks like a right foot.
And the other one, the adult-sized one, that's only like 15 feet from here.
The Grizzly Ridge investigation ended quietly, with the team standing among towering pines as the wind moved through the branches. What they saw couldn't be easily explained, yet it all seemed to fit the same mysterious pattern that has drawn researchers into these wild mountains for decades. Angelo stood still for a moment, flashlight trembling slightly in his grip. Something heavy was moving. A low, strange whoop carried through the trees, clear and unbroken. It wasn't human. And it wasn't any animal he could name. He whispered into the dark, testing the silence. The sound answered back, a moan, long and low, drifting through the forest like a warning.
Hello, Bigfoot? Nope, just a dog. Alright, let's continue. I don't want to spend too much time in one spot. My goal for tonight, because there seems to be something going on literally right down at the bottom, more or less where the creek is. So I figured, let's get our butts down there.
He told himself it could be a deer, but it didn't sound like a deer. It sounded heavier, slower, more deliberate. A voice rose from the darkness, faint, almost human. But no one was there. He'd checked the trailhead earlier, empty. He called out. He picked up 2 stones and knocked them together, letting the sound echo through the night. The reply came seconds later. 3 clean knocks from deep in the trees. Slow, intentional. Something was answering him.
Okay. That was that voice again. What the I'm telling you, we come out here looking for Bigfoot. I swear we're gonna run into some like serial killer living out here. I mean, like I said before, it could just be like a homeless person living out here. I don't know. But just based on that one experience. Hello?
Another rock landed. Closer. Angelo's breath grew shallow. He pulled back toward camp, knowing something was pacing him just beyond the firelight. The brush moved with weight, like footsteps. Slow, careful, watching. He built the fire higher, hoping the light would keep whatever it was at a distance.
Something just... That was a rock. That was a rock. That was a coyote, but that was a rock. Something 100% just like threw a rock in this direction. Okay, are we under attack right now? Quiet down over there.
He didn't see it that night, but he felt it, heard it, knew it was there. Every knock, every moan, every stone thrown out of the dark carried the same truth. Something was in those woods with him. Maybe Bigfoot, maybe something older, but they're listening, watching, moving when the night grows still. And Angelo, he stood right in the middle of it. The mountains of Oregon hold more than just beauty. They hold stories that refuse to fade. Among them is the account of Dr. Ariana Love, a holistic doctor and researcher who believes something ancient once stepped in to save her life. Born into a long line of loggers, her roots stretch deep into the forests of the Pacific Northwest. There are old family photos, faded, sun-worn, of men standing beside cut trees, the backdrop a wall of green wilderness. That same wilderness would one day become the stage for something far beyond her understanding. In the early years of her career, Ariana was known for her outspoken medical research. But that work came with danger. She received threats, felt watched, and lived with a growing unease that followed her everywhere. Photos from that time show her standing near Oak Ridge, Oregon, surrounded by mist and towering pines. She said she often felt something else there too. Something alive, something protective.
Later on, I did see one of them appeared to me physically, but this was just telepathic communication. Telepathy has always been something normal to me. It's not for everybody. You have to develop that gift. But I was there at the river, and I wanted to reach out to them. And I asked them, can I know you? May I know you? I hear you guys are good. And may I please know you?
Her first true encounter happened near a remote cabin deep in the Cascades. It was late evening. The air was still. She had gone out to clear her mind when the forest fell silent. Then, a deep vibration, like the low rumble of a growl, rolled through the trees. She froze. Between 2 fir trunks, a massive figure stood perfectly still. Broad shoulders, dark hair, no movement except for slow, deliberate breathing. She didn't run. Instead, she felt an overwhelming calm, as if the fear had been taken from her. Later, she described it as telepathic communication. an understanding that needed no words. In that quiet exchange, she sensed only peace. That figure, she would later call JJ, became a guardian presence. During times of danger, when the tension around her research grew and she felt unsafe even in her own home, she claimed to hear soft knocks on the walls.
This Sasquatch, the same Sasquatch, a junior Sasquatch, beautiful, he's beautiful. He has, and his face, I just want to say, his eyes and his emotions were so tender. When I was looking at him and pouring love to him, he starts like squinting his eyes, and I see just, he didn't move his head, he stood like a statue, but his face, his facial muscles were moving, and he was like smiling inside.
A sign, she believed, that JJ was near. Photos from those years show her hiking alone in the Cascades, near McCready Hot Springs, one of the places she said she felt their presence most strongly. Locals have long shared similar tales, some mentioning footprints in the mud or eerie calls echoing through the valley. Her most profound experience came one night after she collapsed from exhaustion during a period of illness. She remembers lying still, unable to move, when a shadow passed near her cabin window. The next morning, she said her fever had broken, and outside, a single large footprint was pressed into the soft earth. Whether it was coincidence or connection, she never doubted who it was.
Later on, I realized, I came to understand that this was a Sasquatch and he was saving my life. And he wanted me to understand he's saving my life. And since then, I've developed a relationship with him. His name is JJ.
Today, she continues to speak quietly about that bond between human and Sasquatch, science and spirit. In her words, the forest remembers us, sometimes it reaches back. And maybe in the wild silence of Oregon's deep woods, that's exactly what happened. Footage courtesy Animal Planet. The team returns to Louisiana, reuniting with researcher Lyle Blackburn at one of the South's eeriest places, Caddo Lake. Wrapped in fog and ancient cypress trees, this haunting swamp straddling the Texas-Louisiana border has long been known as both a Bigfoot hotspot and a horror film backdrop. At a crowded town hall, the team meets several witnesses, including one man whose chilling story of a female Bigfoot leaves everyone silent. With the dark woods surrounding them, Bobo asks the man to relive every detail of that day, each sound, each movement. The witness describes spotting a massive figure near a pipeline marker on a gray, silent morning. When he raised his gun scope, the creature turned and vanished into the mist. Later,
Tell me a little about your story at Town Hall. Now that we're here, I want to go through the whole thing with you and see if I get some more details.
Okay. Then I just decided to hunt that morning. And then all of a sudden, that just kind of appeared right there by the pipeline marker. I went to try to pick my gun up to look at it through the scope. I mean, he just whirled and went back in the woods and was gone.
Bobo asks about the footprint he found, around 14 to 16 inches long, far larger than any human track. Standing by the marker, Bobo asks where the creature's head reached. The witness stops him at 8 feet, comparing its chest to a broad, powerful build. The height estimate made sense. The pipeline marker stood exactly 4 feet tall, giving the hunter a clear reference.
All right, I'm here. Is this it?
That's pretty good.
Okay, I'm gonna raise my hand, and you tell me when to stop when it's the right height for the creature's head.
That's about the right height.
Yeah, that's an 8-footer. How thick was it through the chest compared to me? Like this profile shot?
About half again as thick as you.
So you're saying it was this tall? I mean, that's 8 foot.
Having spent years judging distances, he was certain of what he saw, a towering, hair-covered creature walking on 2 legs. Bobo decided to walk down to the spot near the pipeline marker to get a better sense of the creature's size. Standing beside it, he called out to the witness, asking if this was the exact location. When the man confirmed, Bobo raised his hand slowly, asking him to say "stop" when it reached the height of the creature's head. The witness stopped him at about 8 feet. Bobo then turned sideways and asked how the creature's chest compared to his own build, trying to visualize its massive profile. The accuracy of the witness's size estimate came from the fact that the creature had been standing beside a fixed point.
What makes his size estimate so accurate was it was standing next to a fixed point, a pipeline right-of-way marker that's 4 foot tall. So he knew pretty much how big it was just from that. Hunters are good at judging distance and size. He thought I was 7.5, 8 foot. It turned out I was right around 8 foot. His opinion of what he saw that day didn't change seeing me up there. It just kind of reinforced it. So you have no doubt about what you saw that day is one of these undiscovered, large, hair-covered, two-legged critters running around this part of the country.
A pipeline right-of-way marker exactly 4 feet tall. This gave him a solid reference for judging its height. Being a hunter, he was used to estimating size and distance with precision. When Bobo later stood in the same spot, the witness guessed he was about 7 to 8 feet tall, which turned out to be almost exact. Seeing Bobo there only confirmed what he already believed. The witness had no doubt about what he saw that day, one of the large, hair-covered, two-legged creatures said to roam the region. Then came another chilling report from local farmer Faye Allen. During harvest season, she spotted something large bending near her cornfield. At first, she assumed it was a bear, until it stood up. Roughly 60 to 70 feet away, the creature was tall and slender, covered head to toe in black hair.
Back in 2008, she said while visiting the property, she observed a Sasquatch about 60 feet away, rummaging through a pecan bag.
So are these big things here pecan trees?
Yes.
Tell us what happened when you went to go harvest.
Well, we was harvesting pecans. And so I was coming through with a tractor, and I noticed something was by the pecan sack, and it was bent over. Then he stood up. I didn't know what to think.
It turned, met her gaze, and calmly walked away. Faye Allen recalled that the figure stood about 60 to 70 feet away. It was tall and slender, completely covered in solid black hair from head to toe. Though she could make out the shape of its face, the details were hard to distinguish at that distance. As she stood there, frozen, the creature turned its head, looked directly at her, and then calmly walked away.
What is going through your mind?
When I saw him, I was thinking, it's not real.
But you feel pretty confident this was the distance from the figure?
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm going to walk over to that tree.
Okay.
Try to recreate what you saw.
Okay.
Faye's pretty sure that she saw a Sasquatch that day. So I'm going to head over to where the alleged creature was standing and try to get an idea of how big it was. Who knows? Maybe we can rule out a person.
In that moment, disbelief washed over her. It couldn't be real, she thought. After reviewing her account, the investigator compared it to hundreds of other Bigfoot reports and found it to be almost identical.
So much about this encounter makes perfect sense to me. These creatures know that's the sound of the harvesting of these things, so they don't have to go gather these things. You're gathering them for them. So they came up and ate right out of the bag. You crawl up on this thing, it turns and checks you out and just quietly walks away like hundreds and hundreds of other Bigfoot reports. This is spot on. You saw a Sasquatch. I'd bet my life on it.
I would too.
He was certain of what Faye Allen had seen. You saw a Sasquatch, he told her with confidence. I'd bet my life on it. Faye didn't hesitate before replying softly, I would too.
When you first see the figure, it's bent over the pecan bag.
Yes.
How long did the whole thing take? A few seconds or like 20 seconds or what do you think?
It wasn't very long at all, probably 20 seconds.
20, well, that's a long time actually.
Okay, so you're estimating that that pecan bag, the top of it was at about this height, about 3 or 4 feet? So where would the top of the figure's head be?
Maybe just a little bit taller. So that's probably it right there then.
I definitely believe that Faye saw something that day, but I can't rule out that that wasn't somebody trying to pull a hoax on her. I mean, she said it was tall and lean.
If both witnesses are truly certain of what they saw, could this finally be the proof skeptics have long demanded? Or is the legend of Bigfoot destined to remain forever just beyond our reach, lurking in the shadows of the wilderness? As the forests fall silent once more, the evidence remains. Footprints in the mud, whispers in the dark, and stories too unsettling to dismiss. From Washington to Vermont, Bigfoot moves unseen, watching from the shadows, leaving only fear and fascination behind.
Thanks for meeting us, Ben. And this supposed to be the famous trailer, huh?
Yes, sir. I see it.
Well, tell us about what happened that night.
One night, I heard a noise outside. And when I got up close to it, it was shaking the trailer. She turned around, that's when I realized it was a female. Kind of had breasts on it. She just kind of throwed her head up, she turned.
Each encounter reminds us the legend is far from over. So, are we truly alone in these woods? Or is something massive and intelligent still out there, just beyond the light? Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more encounters that blur the line between myth and reality. Footage courtesy, a flash of beauty Bigfoot revealed. Stan Avery returns with a chilling story involving actor Charles Levin and a haunting possibility that Bigfoot may have played a deadly role in southern Oregon. Because out here, in these dark forests, Bigfoot isn't always friendly. In southern Oregon, a mystery has lingered for years, and Stan Avery is determined to uncover the truth. He delves into a disappearance that may be more sinister than anyone imagined, suggesting that encounters with this elusive creature don't always end peacefully.
Talked last time, and I told you like a lot of the different accounts that we've been collecting over the years from Bigfoot encounters and sightings and events in our area. And there was, I get reports all the time. People contact me and say this happened and that happened. But there's one of note that I wanted to convey to you that's really interesting. So Rod Taylor, he's a dear friend of ours. We've known him for years and years.
Stephen recounts how Rod Taylor, a longtime friend and county commissioner, and his wife Nicole were drawn to a remote, undeveloped parcel of land in southwest Oregon. Nestled deep within a dead-end valley near Bear Creek, the property sits in untouched wilderness, an area officially marked on the Bureau of Land Management's Bigfoot map for its numerous reported sightings.
And beautiful place. And on the east side of that, there's all these pieces of property. And that is actually, that area there is on the official Bureau of Land Management Bigfoot map, where they actually recognize they've had sightings in that area. It's actually marked on the map for all of southwest Oregon. So Rod and Nicole bought this acreage, and their dream is to build a home on it someday. And next door to them.
As night fell over their secluded property, an unsettling chorus erupted across the forest. High above their land, three large figures seemed to call out to one another, each cry echoing with an eerie rhythm, part growl, part vocalization. The sound sent chills through them, as if the forest itself had come alive to watch. Then came the screams, blood-curdling, guttural, and almost intelligent.
Evening, and they started hearing them. There were three of them up on their acreage in the woods, way up high, yelling at each other with the same type of communication. They were, screaming, and then there was the uniquely primate gibberish, and then howling and roaring, but all these sounds were very easily recognized as.
The night air trembled with strange primal gibberish and deep roars that rolled through the trees. Nothing native to Oregon made sounds like this. Mike Harrington, frozen in disbelief, first thought a tropical bird had escaped, until the realization struck him. These were calls, not cries. Bigfoot was real and dangerously close.
Bigfoot place. There's actually a huge store right in downtown Cave Junction. Anything pertaining to Bigfoot you want, they have it there. Movies, so he was moving, and he took he thought it was a back road. You know how people, there's this new thing called dying from GPS, and that's actually what happened. So he was taking this back road, and he got turned around.
The forest stretched endlessly, dense, isolated, and riddled with old logging roads. Somewhere out there, Todd made a final phone call. I got turned around out here. I need to find my way back. No one ever heard from him again. He vanished without a trace, swallowed by the silence of the Oregon wilderness. Could Bigfoot be more than just a myth, lurking unseen in these vast forests, watching, waiting, and striking when least expected?
The Bigfoot is real. So Rod and Nicole are sitting there, and Nicole turns to Rod. This is what they conveyed me, and she said, Stan and Teresa were right.
Over the years, researchers like Stan have gathered thousands of reports, some dating back to the 1800s, others nearly 1,000 years old. From oral traditions to modern recordings, the evidence paints a chilling timeline of encounters with something enduring. So what do you think? Could Bigfoot still be walking among us, hidden in Oregon's shadowed forests? Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more real encounters that blur the line between myth and reality. The Visitor at Glacier Pass. Snow swirled thick under the high beams. Emily gripped the steering wheel tighter as her tires crunched over the icy mountain road. She was already an hour past when she should have turned back, but the thought of spending another night at the roadside lodge made her stomach turn. She just wanted to get home. Then the dashboard lights flickered. Once, twice, the engine shuddered and went silent. Emily cursed under her breath, twisting the key, but the car wouldn't start. No signal, no other cars for miles. The wind howled outside. A soft crunching sound broke the silence. Snow being stepped on, slowly, deliberately. She looked up, shapes blurred in the swirling snow. Then something stepped into the light. It was massive, tall enough to bend slightly to peer through her side window. Its fur was thick, matted with frost. Its broad, almost human-like face framed by a gray mane. And its eyes, vivid blue, intelligent, almost sad, locked onto hers. For a long moment, neither moved. Her breath fogged the glass. The creature tilted its head, curious, then pressed one enormous hand against the window. The glass fogged beneath its palm. Emily couldn't scream, couldn't move. She whispered, almost involuntarily, "Are you real?" The creature blinked once, then stepped back into the swirling snow and vanished. 20 minutes later, her hands finally steadied the wheel. The engine roared to life on the first try. At the ranger station, she stayed silent. They'd think she was crazy. Until one ranger noticed the car window, a single enormous handprint, warm and unmistakable, still faintly visible in the frost. But Emily couldn't shake the question. Was it truly gone, or just watching from the shadows? For most people, Sasquatch is just a story. But for those who venture into the wild, it becomes something much more real. Out there, every sound and shadow tells a story no report ever could. Matt Moneymaker, founder of the Bigfoot Field Researchers Organization, BFRO, and veteran tracker Mr. Green, returned to one of their most compelling encounter sites. Reviewing the footage, Matt called it extraordinary, unlike anything we've ever captured. "This is the spot," he said, pointing to an old stump. A candy bar had been placed there, and later, caught on thermal, snatched away by something unseen in the night.
Matt Moneymaker.
Mr. Green. So we got the footage.
Right.
I love it. I think it's amazing. It's definitely unique. There's nothing else out there like that. And you're saying it was right here?
Here it is. This is the spot, and that is the stump. That stump right there is where the candy bar was when he grabbed it off the thermal.
For nearly 20 years, Mr. Green had searched for signs of Bigfoot until he started camping here. That night, the forest was unnaturally still. The air felt heavy. He was alone. Around 3 a.m., a deep, wet plop broke the silence. Something heavy landing close by. Then, again, closer.
He grabbed it off the thermal. I've been into Bigfooting for about 20 years, completely unsuccessful until I started coming down to this very spot. There was nobody else in the campground. Put my tent up, went to sleep. 3 o'clock in the morning, I woke up. Down there somewhere, I heard this plopping noise. It sounded like somebody dropping a water balloon on the floor.
Moments later came a slow, rhythmic breathing above his tent, deep and heavy, like Darth Vader. Each breath pressed closer, vibrating through the thin fabric. Then, a sudden thud struck the top of the tent, hard enough to shake it. Instinctively, he hit back. Footsteps scrambled away, fading into the brush. The woods fell silent again, except for his racing heartbeat.
The thing I heard right
over the top of my tent was what I call Darth Vader breaths, which was,
I've heard that before.
and then something cupped the top of the tent. And I whacked the side of the tent back, and it ran off. I heard this rustling down here, and I thought, God darn it, he's down there watching.
Trying to stay calm, he slipped into his car and drove to the far end of the empty campground. 2 tense hours passed. When he finally returned, the candy bar was gone, and his fully charged camera was completely drained.
I got in my car and conspicuously drove off. And I drove way to the other end of this campsite, and I just parked there and I waited for 2 hours. And then I came back. Candy bar was gone, and the battery was dead.
When he reviewed the thermal footage, his breath caught. The figure radiated solid heat from head to toe. No cold spots, no gear, no suit. The shape was unmistakable. Towering frame, long arms, and broad shoulders. He was convinced this was a Sasquatch.
I knew what I'd seen, and unequivocally, it was a Squatch. The image does not reflect any cold spots that it would if you were wearing a fat suit or a lot of insulation. Its general shape was...
Later, the BFRO team attempted to recreate the moment. Walk up to the stump, one investigator instructed. Reach for the candy bar, eyes just above the stump. As the footage rolled, their movements matched the original perfectly. "Oh my God," one whispered. "Look at that. Perfect."
Looks like it's coming up toward the stump from right in there. It's making a beeline toward the stump.
You want me to proceed all the way to the stump right now?
Yeah, come up to the stump and reach and grab the Zagnut bar while keeping your eyes just over the top of it. A little more. And come closer.
Oh my God, look at that! Perfect.
As Bobo and his teammate moved cautiously through the trees, something caught his eye. "There's something on that hill," he said, pointing. Partially hidden in the brush stood a dark, human-like shape, tall, solid, and motionless. It wasn't a shadow. It was watching them. Could this finally be the creature so many have claimed to see? The team met with Professor Jeff Meldrum before setting out to track mysterious footprints in Washington's Blue Mountains. At a local town hall, residents shared chilling, first-hand Sasquatch encounters. Some even led the team to the exact sites where they had seen it. Standing before the crowd, the BFRO team asked if anyone had ever seen, heard, or found traces of Bigfoot. One by one, hands rose across the room, dozens of them. The team focused on those within a 50-mile radius, determined to document every credible sighting.
Hello, Walla Walla. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have encountered a Sasquatch at some point, whether you've seen it, heard it, or even found footprints, will you please raise your hand nice and high?
No way!
Yeah!
I don't believe it.
This is awesome.
How many of these things happen within 50 miles of where we're at right now?
Then came David Bean. Holding up a strange cast, he revealed an eerie imprint unlike anything anyone had ever seen. This handprint was left by a Bigfoot, he said. The creature, he explained, had been tracking a chipmunk near the forest edge. The cast showed fingers 2 inches longer than a human's. Thick, powerful, unmistakably different. "That's incredible," Matt whispered, as silence swept the room.
I have a handprint. Apparently, Bigfoot was after a chipmunk. He was finding food. That particular cast were taken at the edge of the watershed. Their fingers are about this much longer, about 2 inches longer than ours.
That's so cool.
That is awesome.
Next was Chelsea, a Umatilla tribal member who recalled her encounter on December 27, 2012, deep within the Umatilla Indian Reservation. The room fell quiet as she began.
Hi, my name is Chelsea. My encounter happened on December 27th of 2012 on the Umatilla Indian Reservation.
Driving home late that night, Chelsea slowed behind an old truck that had come to a stop on the dark road. Then, from the trees, a massive figure emerged. broad-shouldered, long-limbed, and impossibly fast. It crossed the road in just 2 strides, completely silent. Her friend never noticed a thing, leaving her frozen in shock as she realized what she had just seen. Bigfoot.
I approached an old truck that was coming to a stop. So I knew that something was about to cross the road, so I had slowed down. And I saw a large animal cross in front of my car. It took maybe 1.5 to 2 steps to cross the road. My friend that was with me at the time was texting and not paying attention to the road. And I said, "Oh my God, I think I just saw Bigfoot."
Later, investigator Matt Moneymaker traveled to meet Chelsea in person. Her sighting matched a pattern of winter encounters across the Blue Mountains, precisely what the team needed to pinpoint their next search area.
I'm headed down to meet with Chelsea from the town hall meeting. She was a Umatilla Indian and had a sighting on the Umatilla Indian Reservation, and it abuts right up against the Blue Mountains. Her sighting is important to us because it happened at the same time of year, and it happened a little over a year ago, so this may end up being a better place for us to figure out where we should.
December 27th, 2012, a day that would stay with her forever. Chelsea was driving along a quiet stretch of road when a vehicle ahead came to a sudden stop, forcing her to slow down. As she eased forward, a massive figure emerged from the edge of the forest. Its broad shoulders and long arms swung with an eerie, deliberate grace as it crossed the road in front of her. She could feel her heart pounding as she tried to comprehend what she was seeing. Every step of the creature was unnervingly precise, moving with a strength and confidence that was unmistakable. In that brief, strange moment, she realized she was witnessing something truly extraordinary. Bigfoot.
So this is where it happened.
Yeah, on December 27th of 2012. As I was driving down the road, I approached a vehicle and it was coming to a complete stop, so I knew that I should probably slow down. And as I did, I saw a very large figure cross the road in front of me, and I could see arms swinging as I was walking.
For a few brief seconds, the area was well lit, and she saw it clearly. The sight sent a wave of fear through her. She froze, slipping into instant shock. When Matt asked how far away it had been, she compared the distance to that between a nearby telephone pole and her car. The creature had walked directly between them, towering and broad-shouldered. Even in that short moment, she could tell. It stood nearly 8 or 8.5 feet tall. What other secrets do the woods around the Umatilla Reservation hold? Just out of sight?
It was very well lit.
It scared me, honestly. I kind of went into instant shock, and then I said, "I think I just saw Bigfoot."
How far away were you from the front of that car?
About the distance from this telephone pole to me and my car.
Wow. You came right together and it walked right in between.
Yeah. It was tall. It was very large. I could see that it was, probably, I'm guessing, around 8 feet.
Matt was convinced that Chelsea had truly seen a Sasquatch, a belief reinforced by the fear and certainty in her own eyes. For Chelsea, there was no question. What she had witnessed that day was real and unforgettable. Footage courtesy, Small Town Monster. Vermont hides a secret. Bigfoot roams its wild green mountains. In Sasquatch Unearthed, Bigfoot of the Northwoods, we track sightings, meet witnesses, and confront the unknown. Let's begin, and step into the mystery lurking in Vermont's forests. Near the quiet Vermont-Massachusetts border lies the small town of Pommel, a place steeped in whispers and legend. The investigation team traveled there after reports of a chilling roadside encounter that still sends shivers through locals who remember it.
Massachusetts border in a little town called Pommel. There's a gentleman down there that had a roadside encounter several years ago. We got the call through the BFRO. Dave and I met him.
How does that work with you guys? How do people file a report? If they get in touch with you, are you getting that for the BFRO?
Well, we have two avenues. We get people contact us through the BFRO. Dave and I handle Massachusetts with a couple other people.
It began along Route 7, the winding road cutting through the southern edge of the Green Mountains. On a cold, fog-drenched night, a commercial bus driver making his late run saw something emerge from the mist, tall, broad, and disturbingly human-like. He froze in disbelief, watching as the creature crossed the road with deliberate grace, its sheer size leaving him shaken to his core.
We're on Route 7 here, which is the main route coming through the area. In the southern Vermont, just in the beginning of the Green Mountains, a gentleman was driving a commercial transport bus in the middle of the night between 2 and 3 o'clock, and he witnessed a very tall creature come out of the wood line right here on the east side of the street, cross over to the west side of the street, and then go right up here into the woods.
Just 5 miles south, an elderly couple in their RV spotted a figure sprinting across a field at impossible speed, keeping pace with their vehicle before vanishing into the tree line.
About 5 miles south of here is where an elderly couple were coming up. They were heading up to the Green Mountains in their RV, and they looked out into a field and saw one running at a high rate of speed through the field, paralleling them. And then a school teacher at sunset with her dog up at the base of Mount Greylock, which is where the Appalachian Trail comes through. She was maybe a couple miles south of that, so about 7-8 miles from here. She saw one come out of the tree line and it looked at her.
But perhaps the most haunting account came from the Appalachian Trail, under a sky littered with stars. A schoolteacher and her dog were quietly stargazing when a massive figure appeared, no more than 100 feet away. They locked eyes for several seconds. She gasped, and the creature seemed to do the same. Then, without a sound, it turned and walked briskly into the night. The experience would stay with her forever.
The compelling one is, I think, was a school teacher right along the Appalachian Trail where her and her dog were stargazing, and one walked right out in front of her, at least 100, maybe less than 100 feet in front of her, stood there, and they both gasped at each other. She gasped, the creature gasped, the dog just froze, and then it just walked away at a brisk pace. And she found us on the internet and to tell her story. That's one of my most favorite stories from the Appalachian Trail.
In a nearby town, a hunter's terrifying encounter would spark fear throughout the community. At first, he thought it was a bear, but as the figure stood upright, its towering frame and unnatural movement proved otherwise. He fired in panic, and the creature disappeared into the woods.
Ape man creature attack from the 1800s. That's one of the famous stories in the Bennington Triangle, and there's plenty of ones in the central part of the state. I actually had an interesting encounter happen to me, which I can't say is Bigfoot, but I'll go into the story real quick. In near an area in the Breadloaf Wilderness of, again, where the Appalachian Trail and the Long Trail are going through, near an area called Texas Falls in the National Forest, where while camping one morning, we'd done some wood knocks and put up some pheromone chips the night before, and in the morning we were woken up by wood knocks.
Soon others began sharing their own encounters. Gardens torn apart overnight, eerie cries echoing through the darkness, and figures seen darting through the trees. Could all these encounters point to a creature lurking undetected in Vermont's forests, watching, moving, and waiting just beyond the trees?
And we were out, there's just one particular night, we were out all night, never heard a sound. He did a couple wood knocks, stuff like that, trying to get a response, and we were on this hill above camp. It was pretty high hill. And it was one of those things where nothing went on the whole night, but we come back about 2 in the morning, called it a night.
The Appalachian forest has seen centuries of footsteps, but some trails were never meant to be followed. From shadowy figures in the trees to sounds with no source, these encounters may be unexplained, but they're not uncommon. So the next time you're deep in the woods, far from cell service and surrounded by silence, ask yourself, what's watching from the dark? And why hasn't it shown itself yet? Got your own eerie encounter? Drop it in the comments, we're listening.